During the early years of my childhood, my parents and loved ones noticed some peculiarities with my behaviour. So to understand the root of the problem, I was brought in and out of the hospital quite often.
Eventually, the doctors diagnosed that I had this thing called autism,
which meant that I had a neurological disability within my own head.
They told me to imagine that if my brain was made out of different pieces, like that of a jigsaw puzzle. People that had a common mind, their pieces would fit quite snugly within each other. But however, for people like me with autism, our pieces in our brains didn't quite fit in the most conventional sense, as some of them would be oddly shaped. So a rather tight fit would have to be added in to make sure that they would all fit together.
They also stressed that not everybody with autism are the same, as even with individuals with autism or those individuals without that prognosis, everybody is still different and unique in their own way. So my case is only an example, one out of many others.
Because of this rewiring in my head, it meant that I was very concerned about specific things. And when I went off to school, many of the children took advantage of my sensitivity. I would struggle to take in words of dialogue as a joke, such as the kids telling me that the floor was lava. When people would see my unique behaviour, they would just think I was just being a naughty kid, up to no good. One time, when we were in PE, and the teacher asked all the students to take off their shoes as we were going to run around barefoot, I started to cry. And when the teachers would ask me as to why I was crying, I'd reply with that since I didn't have any bare feet, I felt like that I couldn't participate in the activity. I was very particular on certain tools. I'd rather use a pencil instead of a pen, because with a pen, you could never rub it out if you made a mistake. I also had an incredibly forgetful memory. I could never recall as to which classroom I had to go to, so I would often be quite lost. Never knowing which direction to go. I would always arrive late into class with a rather unhappy teacher. I was unsure as to what to do. But in situations where I felt a bit upset, I would always think about the cuckoo clock. That was my favourite object around the house. It seemed so friendly, the little birdie popping out every hour. I would often walk in like a cuckoo clock, in order to show teachers that I didn't mean any harm on being late. But when I did it, the teachers still didn't look too happy, and angry faces really stressed me out. I hid under a table if things were getting too much. It was eventually decided by the school that I would have a member of learning support to come and help me in the classrooms. And this is where I met Mrs. Sugar, who wasn't a patient lady. She would often catch me being lost down the corridors and calling me stupid, saying that big boys like me shouldn't be lost. And if the tears started rolling down my eyes, she told me that if it carried on, we would have to go down and see the headmaster about me skiving off. There was now a band of me hiding under tables. I struggled massively with reading and writing. The teacher said that I should have asked Mrs. Sugar for help, but since she was so barky towards me, I was too terrified to ask for help. So I sat there, no idea as to what the work was that was laid out, but tried to carry it on anyway. What was especially nervous was that I had to write in pen, so I couldn't afford to make any mistakes. I didn't like the atmosphere of the classroom, as I found it to be quite noisy. When I got sad or scared, I'd often climb over the wall from school. Next door, there was a nature reserve. floated ducks, swans, squirrels,
and the occasional moggy. I liked it there. It was nice and quiet. No Mrs. Sugar. No kids putting me up to no good. No angry teachers. Just fine.